That's a lot to give up. It's important to remember that science and the universe should and must be easier to understand as we go back in the universe's evolution.
All right, now that's pretty interesting, I think. Of course, you need an explanation as to how the planet could grow and all that stuff. But aside from that small issue, it's quite a compelling story. And I just want to say the story of Pangea, the giant assemblage of continents from long ago, I'm just thinking that would have made the planet pretty lopsided. I mean, with the Pacific right now taking up half of the planet, if the rest of the continents were jammed together, we would have fallen into a gravity lock like the moon. Our land side would have then tended to face the sun, or would have slowed the orbit down or something. We would have had a noticeable wobble in the orbit if Pangea was in fact a reality. That's one positive thing I can say for this guy, that you don't have that problem with this. The lopsidedness is not an issue. But he's certainly got a problem with the expansion of the mantle. But who knows? Well, maybe it's like a thermonuclear reaction going on inside the Earth that's pressing outward, that's making it expand. Well, let's do another fractal zoom. Before we do that, this is a beautiful dark blue universe, this is called. And just stick with this. It's about just less than 2 minutes long.
The night, a face was appearing again and again, my love, I saw. You were there, where was I? Tripping through shadow in the floor. That's where we are. That's where we are. Shadowed clouds passing by, weaving.
Alrighty, then that is just pure mathematics. Next on the agenda is a small bit on some UFO activity or orb activity or dust. We're not quite sure. We're trying to get to the bottom of it. We're going to, I got a hold recently of some high resolution footage from Freedom 7, the first Mercury capsule that went up with Alan Shepard in '61. And it's really excellent footage, just him, looking around at his controls, but this was never shown before. And just really interesting to see. It only had a 15-minute flight, but this is a few seconds of it. And there's a couple of anomalous things in there. I just want to show you that because we're trying to figure this out, because these things seem to be on every space mission we've had, inside and outside of the craft. And the problem with these little things is that they seem to control their trajectories without impacting anything, meaning they're under some type of control that's inexplicable. We're going to hear Alan Shepard talking, we're going to see the footage, and there's just two little anomalies. I want to just check it out, and we will be right back. Let's go to Colonel Shepard.
First looked from the instrument panel using a gyroscopic indication down to the periscope itself, I must admit it sort of took my breath away. It was a beautiful view.
Okay, I want you to look just at his little, below his air hose. A little black shape is going to decide to come out with the music. Yeah. And it looks like it gets hit by this thing, but isn't that weird? Like, it looked like it got hit by his little ribbon thing, but it seems to jump off of that faster than it, okay, it's like a baseball hitting a little piece of dust. I mean, a baseball bat hitting a little baseball here. Watch this. Does it really impact or not? But how did it do that? It's just thing floating there and it impacted this. I just don't get it. I think that's anomalous. Another one coming up. This is a show about everything, and we are live from Bridgeport, Connecticut. There's a little thing on the bottom of the screen cruising by that looked semi-translucent. This is the view from behind Shepard as he looks at his dashboard. There's less scratches on the film, but I'm interested in the ones that are clearly floating objects. We're going to zoom in on a couple of quickies here. Oh, again, we're looking for a change in trajectory, and it's here we go. Where's that little rascal? There it goes. See, it's curving down. And you can still see it. It's actually curving down further, okay? Inexplicable. And that's not, I'm not letting that slide by. Are we, that's it for Alan Shepard's Freedom 7? Well, every show I'm going to try to show you some type of phenomenon like that from the space missions, and because they are very compelling. And we're starting to see a pattern here worldwide of this type of phenomenon. I recently came upon this film about some dust particles floating called dry rain in Arizona. These dust particles look pretty strange, especially when you see them. They look doubled. They look like they're in pairs. And the pairs do not look like it's a reflection because the pairs vary in their distance from each other and their orientations. Just go to the videotape. Check this stuff out. At the roof of their house. This is called the sun obliteration technique, where you block out the sun, zoom in on its glare, and you're trying to look in visible light and in infrared for these alleged anomalies. And I'm sure you're going to get insects, but the question is, well, let's just figure it out. What are these things? Looks like you have some insects flying by, perhaps, but what's that dot straight up there? Now, if you were looking up above the insects above your house and you saw one stationary like that, wouldn't you kind of be curious as to how does it stand, like what it's doing? It doesn't seem to have any buzzing wings. And if it's a dust particle, maybe this is smart dust, but it's smarter than the NSA smart dust because this dust can fly. And look at the little doubles. Some of them double. And there's these stringy things. You see that slanted thing? Could be a spider web. But it's more of a line segment. Now, I'm going to give this a shot next week, and I'll come back with a report to see what I can find. And believe me, I want to find insects. I'd love to debunk stuff. I'm only bringing these people compelling stuff that has not been debunked, I guarantee it. Okay, if you looked up and you saw a line segment flying by and like these... What's up? How are you making out? I wish I could see flying wings on these so-called bugs. That look like a little butterfly, but you stop the action on these and look in, these are not normal things. And apparently they are filling the atmosphere, the lower atmosphere, at least in Arizona. And that's just how they do it. They zoom in. So I really would like to get to the bottom of this mystery. And as you remember, we saw similar stuff in the BP oil spill and the underwater vehicles that were moving around. Similar type of little white shapes moving around in a very similar way. And I'm not saying it's the same critters, but I'm just saying they look and behave identically. Perhaps it's just the aquatic species of such. Now, some new fun we can have without getting dust or dry rain on us is to use Google Sky, Google Earth to search for ancient stuff, bizarre stuff, funny stuff. And what I'm enjoying is some of the sky anomalies in Google Sky, just weird things that are showing up in the deep sky pictures. And you'd love to think that all of this is just, whoever assembled these pictures must have had to use some Photoshop, or maybe there's artifacts of the process of this. Let's back up to number 9.1, please. And I was informed about this one. One of my favorite places is the Orion Belt stars. You can see the Horsehead Nebula on the lower left. The Orion Nebula is off the picture. But this is how Google Sky looks. And of course, you know, the Great Pyramid represents the lower of the three stars here. And the three pyramids, of course, are all three stars. This is Egyptian, this is Isis and Osiris. It's actually called the Duat, the places where the dead go, this area of the sky. And it's just interesting that there's a long line that's got to be many parsecs across. And there is roughly where it sits. So all you got to do is go there on Google Sky, zoom into that location. There's two lines, they intersect right there, which is not quite the golden ratio point of the length or width of the belt, but the two lines approximately overlap each other at their respective golden ratio points. I just thought that was interesting. Of course, if it's just nature doing that, that's the way it is. Here we are zooming in on the real lines as they appear in Google Sky. And you can see these go through a huge area of sky. That's really, you would see this line segment with the naked eye if it were bright enough. All right, there's probably a full moon or more across. Here we zoom in more. There are dozens of these glowing little segments. And I haven't yet measured to see if it's a consistent thing, but they're all along this like a daisy chain or a necklace, pearl necklace. And there you can see it going from up and down. There's the intersection of, it's going through that star. It's not the star's glare, although some on the right, that line is from a star's glare. Let's take one more look at the close-up, Francisco, please. There you can see these little, put me in front of it. This little golden thing here, see? You're going to see those all along in a huge area. There's no way it can be a physical thing, because it would be the biggest thing, pretty big. It's as big as a nebula. You know, it could be several solar systems across, depending how far away it is. Of course, it could be close, and if it's in Earth's vicinity, would it have shown up on the Hubble survey? Yeah, but would it be a perfectly straight line? Wouldn't it have some curvature to it or something? If anyone has any ideas, please send them in to us at a show about everything at Gmail. I'm going to continue to do the research on my end to save you people time, because I know you have busy schedules, and there's no time to lose as far as getting informed as to what constitutes reality besides the day-to-day activities that we all have to do. So here's a quick zoom that the Japanese spacecraft put together from last year. Just look at the moon. much like it did when our boys were there 35, 30 years ago, 34